that you're tuning in the whole time. We've got guests joining us on Facebook, from our website at WCTE.org, and all over the nation. We have folks tuning in to WCTE's Live at 5. We've got a very special guest coming up first. In just a moment, we will get to our first guest, Mandy Eller. She has got some great news to share. We're so excited to hear from Mandy, as well as David Darnell and Mayor J.J. Reels from the town of Monterey. So make sure that you stay tuned in, like and share on Facebook, and let everybody check out tonight's show. We're so excited you're tuning in, and we hope to enlighten you on what's going on in the Upper Cumberland tonight.
Come along as we embark on a new series with Michael Akins, telling the stories of the change makers in our community through their voices. Hear advice from local business owners and regional celebrities to help our community achieve new heights. Together, it's Your Business with Michael Akins.
All right, welcome back to Live at 5. I'm Zach Buckner, your host for tonight, and I am so very excited about this very first guest that we have on tonight. I just got the opportunity to meet her in person this week, and she is my people. We immediately hit it off, and I've so enjoyed getting to know her. It's Miss Mandy Eller. Mandy, welcome to the show.
And thank you so much, Zach. It was great meeting you too.
Yeah,
it took way too long for us to meet.
I know, it's ridiculous. So Mandy and I actually have the opportunity to work together on the WCTE team, and so we're going to talk a little bit about that more here in a second. But Mandy, tell us about where you came from and your Upper Cumberland story.
Yes, so I grew up actually in Rock Island, so it's in between McMinnville and Sparta. And but I really grew up in McMinnville, went to school there, and just really enjoyed it here. But, I do have to say, I think one reason why I got involved in the chamber was, I really wanted to see more progress for our community, and a friend actually clued me in on the job being open. And when I looked at it, I thought this would be a great way to be involved.
Right.
And I had started volunteering in some organizations, but this was really a way to kind of be that change that I wanted to see.
Right.
I was raising my sons. I have 10-year-old twin boys, and so I wanted them to have more opportunities, than I'd had, and really have a positive experience.
Absolutely. Well, I know that, so the chamber was sort of your gateway into more involvement, and it's amazing what you learn when you work for a chamber that you thought you knew about your own community, isn't it?
It is so true. It is so true. But, I just fell more and more in love with McMinnville and Warren County. It's great.
Absolutely. It was the same way for me with Cookeville, Putnam County, and, being born and raised here. But man, you talk about really becoming invested in your community and wanting to see things move forward and progress in a healthy way. That chamber work will do that to you. My former boss, George, said, if you start this line of work, you're never going to get it out of your blood. It's so true.
It's so true. It's so true. Well, that's why I'm pumped about what I'm doing now.
Absolutely. One of the neat things, it was kind of the story behind the story, and we talked about this the other day when we met, but you're kind of a legend in the young professionals world in the Upper Cumberland. And we just launched YP Highlands, and I was actually calling some of your team that you assembled to get ideas and bounce ideas off. I didn't know you, but I knew your teammates that you had hired. Talk about young talent and development of young talent and why that is so.
Yes, and how important that is. Yeah, because it really is. I knew that was important, and how you have so many priorities, you have so much on your to-do list as a chamber, but I really got clued in that it needed to be a top priority whenever I went to a conference in 2016, and it was to recruit retirees, which is a great economic development tool. Love it. But they mentioned a statistic there that 10,000 people per day would be retiring until 2030. Wow. It's great for retiree recruitment. It's a lot of opportunity, but I thought, what's going to happen to my community in that time? Where is the workforce going to come from? And so I knew then we had to be actively thinking of how we're going to recruit and retain these young people. Because, growing up here, I had seen people move back, try to make it work, but they just couldn't quite, couldn't quite make those friendships or something and left again, talented people. And so, that's really the premise behind the young professionals, is making sure that they have a community, that they feel connected, that they want to be here. Because I know that's what worked for me whenever I started, making deep friendships here. That's when I knew, like, okay, I'm happy here now. I want to be here. I choose this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, you really help too, I know, with the look and feel, and that's so important when you're attracting young talent, is to make it known. We talked about the other day, this is something we said, that Upper Cumberland is so much cooler than people give it credit for.
It's so true. It is so true. And I'm learning more every day thanks to this role. I love it.
Absolutely. So you were behind a big rebranding project, I know too, when you're at the chamber. We don't have a whole lot of time to talk about that, but just give us a snippet of what you did there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was really the second part of that approach in attracting young people, because I knew, like, if these people are going to be checking us out, we need to look attractive right off the bat. I mean, they have so many choices to make. So how do we look attractive to these young people? And so we went through a elaborate process, but really engaged a lot of different age groups, and but mostly focused on trying to attract those young people, and came out with a product that we were really proud of. And we ended up, building a website and getting our social media where it needed to be. All those things that every chamber wants to do, but often they don't have the funding or the time or something that just makes it difficult for them to do, especially these smaller chambers. So we were just very fortunate. I had a lot of support from the city here in McMinnville to make that happen.
Absolutely. So that was a crucial moment. I know that in that community, I think it really blossom and take off. Now you're in a different role, and we don't have a whole lot of time to talk about this, but let's get a zoomed out view of your position now with UCDD and how you're helping chambers in the Upper Cumberland now.
Yes. So of course, UCDD noticed when we started doing all this rebranding work, and, they were such big supporters of what we were doing, then cheerleaders of what we were doing, always a cheerleader of our chamber. And so of all the chambers. And so I knew that they were great partners. And when they actually received a grant for the CARES Act to specifically work in tourism recovery during COVID-19. And so they called on me to help with that. And so, of course, I did it. And so now I get to help other chambers kind of do what we were able to do here in McMinnville. And so actually, once we started getting started, Michael Aiken's group at TTU, the Center for Rural Innovation, he had been doing a lot of the work that, rebranding and websites and all that. So we thought, well, how can we best fit in? And so one thing that I didn't get to do as much of that I wanted in McMinnville was doing these day trips, really just giving people an itinerary so that they know what to do. Because how often, every time you go visit a place, you want to Google, things to do. Right. No matter what you're coming, what purpose you are traveling there, you want to know what you can do in your spare time. Right. And so that's the idea. And so it's really about telling a story about the whole community. You get a feel, you get a sense of how the small businesses work together, and also the wonderful outdoor assets. We're extremely fortunate here in the Upper Cumberland, and I really think that's been great for us. During this pandemic, people can still get outdoors, and but we also really want to promote these small businesses. They're the ones who risk it all. And, they're the ones who help create memories for us, So like how many times, you're out with your family, your loved ones, a lot of times we experience that in a small business, right? Restaurant, coffee shop, Yeah. And so we have to tell these stories, So at UCDD, we have this director of informatics, Chuck Sutherland. He's a whiz with all this stuff. And so he knew immediately how to present this on a website. We're creating interactive maps so people can actually download the GIS and follow along in their car, and use their GPS for it. So it's just really cool touch, and nice to have that kind of resource available.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to definitely learn a lot more about what you're doing. And actually, this coming month, you're going to be hosting Live at 5, and I'm so excited about that. So I hope we're going to get to know you here on WCTE. And an even greater. We've got a great guest next month. Amy New's going to be on with you.
She's our people too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. And then, and coming up here in a minute, to end the show tonight, we're going to have Mayor JJ Reels, who I know is one of your close friends as well. You do a lot of work in. Mandy, thank you so much for being on tonight. We are so thankful that you took the time to do that, and we look forward to getting to hear from you more and more.
Yes, thank you, Zach. Have a great night.
You too.
Many experts believe the new COVID-19 vaccines will eventually end the pandemic, but some in communities around the country are concerned about the safety of the new vaccines. Health experts say such fears are not surprising. Both the vaccine and the disease are very new, but in this case, those fears should be put aside.
We have to look at the facts and the science and the evidence. And I hope to be an example to all my community as one of the first people to sign up for the vaccine. I was so happy because it's light at the end of the tunnel. I am a mother, and when the data comes out that it's safe for children, with confidence, I will vaccinate my son.
Several million people have already been vaccinated, more in the U.S. than anywhere else in the world.
Got health questions? Ask Hannah at allhealthtv.com.
I can't wait for you to join me for one-on-one when my guest will be Dr. Carl Owens. He is a professor at Tennessee Tech University in educational technology, one of the early Apple Distinguished Educators, and he is celebrating a 40-year career here in the Upper Cumberland. Join us for one-on-one.
Wow, what a great time we had with Mandy. I'm telling you what, I didn't even get to scratch the surface with her. The good news is Mandy is actually going to be hosting Live at 5 next month, and I'm so excited about being part of the WCTE team with Mandy, but also to hear her show next month. Make sure you tune into Live at 5 every single week. You can tune in on Facebook, online. Make sure you're tuning in. Set your reminder to tune into Live at 5. Also want to give a shout out to Mayor Ben over in McMinnville. We're so thankful that you tuned in. Ben Newman, thanks for tuning in and all your support. We have such great support all over the Upper Cumberland. And we also have some great teammates. Here in a moment, you're going to get to hear from one of our teammates, David Darnell. I'll get to intro him in just a moment. We're going to do a live interview with him. And you're going to hear about all that's going on with the Highlands Economic Partnership. There is so much work being done, even in the midst of COVID, in economic development here in the Upper Cumberland. So we want to make sure that you are in the know, you're in the loop on everything that is happening there with Mr. David Darnell and all the team at the Highlands Economic Partnership. So we are.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. I believe a good question is worth at least 100 good answers. I'm Phil Oldham, president of Tennessee Tech University. Please join us for Now That's a Good Question, a show devoted to exploring the power of asking good questions. Wings up.
We're so excited about all the great.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. I believe a good question.
Well, welcome back to Live at 5. I'm so excited right now because I actually have one of my best buddies in the whole world, David Darnell, on the show with us tonight. David, how are you, buddy?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Tell us about yourself, David. Tell us what you do. We've got a short time to fill the world in on a big guy and a lot. You do a lot for the community that no one knows. So tell us all about who you are and what you do.
Yep. So transplant.
Okay. So is David on now?
This month, actually. I own 2 small businesses in town, but I work full-time as the Director of Investor Relations for the Highlands Economic Partnership, which is a portion of the Cookeville Chamber of Commerce here in town.
Absolutely. And so David is one of these serial entrepreneur type guys. He's a creative thinker. He's somebody that I actually bounce ideas off of a lot. And so many of you probably know David from some of his businesses, but David's been doing such a great job of engaging members of the Highlands and engaging the community as far as community outreach goes, as far as industry attraction, economic development, workforce development. Tell us a little bit about the story that you tell on a daily basis with the Highlands Economic Partnership.
Right. So the Highlands Economic Partnership is kind of the group that sits backstage when it comes to working on economic development and really workforce development and education. So, and we have a big hand in legislative advocacy too, but that's typically something that, we do with the membership focus. But the big part of what we do is the economic development and workforce development and education. So economic development is going to be Stephen Crook and Yvonne Pickering and their team, attracting the companies that are looking to come to this area, maybe not even looking to come to this area. I call it kind of an ecosystem, right? So you got economic development, people looking to come to the area, but one of the main driving forces for people looking to come to the area right now is, do you have talent?
Right.
As you know, and I know, we have a ton of talent in the area. Caitlin kind of, gets her team together to make sure that we're, making sure that curriculum from tech is matching what these employers are looking for, making sure that we have things like YP Highlands, which,
Right.
shout out to the president of that organization, Zach Buckner, which is developed to attract, retain, and develop talent for the area. You can't get new companies, you can't get higher paying jobs in the area without having the talent to support that. And that's what the Highlands Economic Partnership does. We have a new CEO in Amy New, and she's led this organization so strongly in the several months that she's been here. And her affiliations throughout the state and her role and what she's done has been fantastic. And having this ecosystem of making sure that companies that are looking to come here know that we have the talent and we can support them, and it comes full circle, is kind of the bread and butter of what the Highlands Economic Partnership is.
Right. We talked earlier with Mandy Eller, as you saw, and Mandy was talking about specifically that young professionals piece, and she helped launch a similar effort in McMinnville, as we now heard. And Mandy is actually going to be hosting Amy New next month here on Live at 5. And so this is really neat how it all ties together, and the work that Mandy is doing ties with the work that you are doing, and it ties with the work that, in a moment, we're going to talk with Monterey Mayor JJ Reels, and Monterey is part of that Highlands region, the eastern end of Putnam County. There's so much development there. You've got partners like Purdue up there that are employing people with quality jobs and great benefits and that kind of thing. How can, if someone wants to get engaged with the work that the Highlands is doing, David, what's the best way to get involved?
Well, I typically would say, if you just want to know a little bit more about it, reach out to me, right? And my email is simple. It's ddarnell@highlandsoftn.com. Very simple. And I can point you. I usually don't have all the answers. In fact, I don't have a lot of the answers. But I work with people that are way smarter than me that I can point you in the right direction and make sure that they get you those answers. And again, whether it be investors who invest in the Highlands Economic Partnership, if you're looking to expand your business, if you're looking to find talent, if you're having problems finding talent, all of those things kind of fall under our wheelhouse. And again, if we don't have the answers, we are in the same, you can see behind me, the Cookeville Chamber, we all work in the same office. So we have the resources here, regardless of what your situation is as a business owner, a student, or an aspiring entrepreneur. We have the resources here at the Highlands Economic Partnership. Absolutely.
And you mentioned your teammates there at the Highlands Economic Partnership. I know Stephen Crook is working hard in economic development land. You also mentioned Caitlin Salyer, who is over the workforce development and education part of the program. I would encourage you, if you want to know more about what the Highlands does, there is a team there that is so knowledgeable. And as David said, if they don't know the answers, I assure you they know the person that does know the answers. And I know too, your website is great. It's a great source. People can follow you on socials. What are the ways that people can follow you on social media, David?
Well, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. These are all going to be Highlands Economic Partnership. We are on LinkedIn. We may be cool enough to have a TikTok. If we are, I'm not cool enough to have one to follow it. But no, we have Allison Bashirs, who is our communications director, who's done an outstanding job in really growing our social presence for all three, the Cookeville Chamber, Highlands, and then you can see the Cookeville Bear behind me over my shoulder here, which is another part of our organization with Visit Cookeville, Tennessee. She does an outstanding job in making sure that we're keeping all of our stakeholders, from just really members of the community to investors to chamber members, up to date with all the exciting things that are going on through all of our organization.
Absolutely. Well, I know that certainly so neat how the vision of the Highlands Economic Partnership and WCTE align and our footprints align. And I know that here at WCTE, we're extremely excited to be part of what's going on with the Highlands Economic Partnership. And I know that we are all certainly cheering on each other as our region grows in a healthy way. I think that's the biggest thing that I see the Highlands doing, is helping us grow, but grow properly and grow healthily. So David, I want to thank you for being on the show with me tonight. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. especially on live television. So thank you so much for joining.
Hey, thanks so much for having me tonight, Zach. Appreciate you.
All right, take care. Folks, we got more good content coming up. We can't wait to see you back right after this.
Tennessee Governor Bill Lee's 2021 State of the State address is scheduled for Monday, February 8th. Live coverage starts at 6 p.m. on this and other Tennessee public television stations.
Wow, we had such a great time. It was so good to get to talk with David. We have another special guest coming up in just a moment. But quickly, I want to give a shout out to Miss Molly Brown, who's tuning in on Facebook with us. Molly is one of David's teammates, telling the story about tourism in the Upper Cumberland. We have so many great partners here at WCTE, and so I want to thank Molly. We got Shane tuning in and Michelle tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in to Live at 5 tonight. We are so honored and glad that you're here. And we're going to hear a quick word in just a moment, and then after that, I'm going to have a chance to talk with Mayor J.J. Reels from the town of Monterey.
Experience the soaring thunder of Beethoven and the heartbreak of Swan Lake. I'm Gustavo Dudamel. Join me in concert at the Hollywood Bowl.
For this evening, and I'm so excited for this guest that we have on now. I had the opportunity to meet him a couple of years ago. It's Mayor J.J. Reels of Monterey, Tennessee. J.J., thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. It's an honor for you to invite me to be on the show.
Well, there are a lot of exciting things going on in Monterey, and I'm really passionate about Monterey and all that's going on there. And like I said, you and I had the opportunity to meet a few years ago, and just really hit it off because we both have a passion for all that is happening there. I think it's one of the hidden gems. I know it is. Yeah. Of the Upper Cumberland. So
absolutely.
So tell us a bit about who you are, your role, how you wound up there, and more about the town of Monterey.
Now, I grew up in Monterey, and at 17, I joined the Navy and spent the next 21 years serving around the world. Retired in 2014, came back home, and I just want to be retired. Want nothing to do with anything. And just the way I am, type of person I am, I got drawn in 2017. I was asked to fill a vacant seat, and did well in that role. And this year, people were in my ear, want me to run. And here I now sit in the seat, the mayor of Monterey. So it's an honor and a blessing to be in this position.
One of the things I love about you, JJ, is you truly view your role. You can tell from the get-go, you viewed this role as the role of a servant, a public servant.
Absolutely.
And I think that is such a noble character trait, but it also makes you a better community leader. And I've talked to so many people through the years in offices of public service, and they honestly, it's really a calling more than it is a job or a task. Or talk about that. What makes you passionate about serving your community?
It's all about the people. That's what it's all about. You have to have a love, and like you said, a love and a passion to do this, because this is a volunteer position.
Right.
And I spend 40, 50 hours a week here in the office, and taking care of things and trying to move Monterey forward, because there's a lot of things going on that, behind the scenes people don't realize. We got a national, international chain business that's waiting on approval from the state for a variance for a right of way. And as soon as that's done, we'll be signing, we'll be announcing. I mean, this is a huge thing for Monterey. Right. We've had 2 businesses open in the last week. So since September, we've had 5 new businesses open in Monterey.
Wow.
And that's amazing.
And that's during a global pandemic.
Exactly. I mean, it's unbelievable what's going on. We have, we're doing an ARC project, putting a water line and sewer line towards B-Rock. Right. So once we get the new sewer plant built in, 2 to 3 years, we'll be able to connect that, and we'll be able to develop that area over there. There's 5 or 6 properties there that people are just, foaming at the mouth to be able to build there. And there's, all these different, companies and restaurants and stuff that are ready to build. They want to build in Monterey.
Right. You've got access there from an economic development standpoint to that I-40 corridor. So there's all kinds of economic development activity that you guys are engaged in right now, as you just said.
Yeah.
But one of the other things about Monterey that maybe people don't realize is how many outdoor attractions, how much there is to do there from a tourism standpoint. Talk about some of the neat things that have happened just in the past few years up in Monterey as far as that goes.
I mean, B-Rock was given to us, and so now that is a part of Monterey, and that's going to be a huge tourist attraction. We're in the process of developing that with the Tennessee Greenways, so that'll be done before too long. We were held up because it was in court for a while, but we won the summary judgment on that, so it's ours. There's nothing that can be done about it. So we're working on that. Then we got Meadow Creek Park, which is a 387 acre park that is it's a hidden gem. There's a bluff line that is on there called the Craig that people come in from all over the eastern United States to rock climb on.
Right.
And we just bought another piece of property last month that's 7 acres that has a cave on it, and it also has a waterfall.
Wow.
And I don't know if you know Chuck Sutherland from UCDD. He came out and he mapped our new hiking trail that we've had built. Then we went over to where the new waterfall and stuff is at, and he said it was an undocumented waterfall. So one of the things when you have an undocumented waterfall, you get to name it.
Oh.
So whenever in your lifetime are you going to be able to have the chance to name a waterfall?
I don't see that happening.
No, so I got to name a waterfall. It's now
that is so neat.
Meadow Creek Falls.
Wow.
And we're in the process of getting more grant money to be able to build more trails. We're going to build start some trailheads on the other side of the lake to be able to start coming in and eventually meet them. It's going to be about 16 miles worth of hiking trails around that lake. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It is. I had the privilege to go up there very early on, and if you were there then and you see it now, and just the amount of work you guys have done in a very, very short period of time to make an incredible destination. Folks, you have to go to Monterey and check out Meadow Creek Park. You can check out the depot. There's so much going on. It's a great downtown area. Mayor Reels, thank you so much for working so hard in such a short period of time to make Monterey such a special place to be.
Yeah,
Tell us, if people want to find out more about Monterey, where do they need to go? Can you direct us to your website or social media?
Yeah, we have a website. It's I think it's townofmontereytennessee.com. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but let me look real quick. I can tell you. I know I have just a minute. But,
that's right.
I got it on my computer. It is townofmontereytennessee.com.
Townofmontereytennessee.com. Very
also,
good.
I put a lot of information on my own Facebook page. It's Mayor JJ Reels.
Perfect.
And that's basically all I post is stuff about Monterey.
Gotcha.
On my Facebook page. So I have a mayor page, but nobody looks at it, so I just go with my regular page.
There you go. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, JJ. I really, really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to be on tonight. And we'll certainly have you on again because we didn't even scratch the surface with all that's going on in Monterey. But everybody jump on and check out.
I could talk for an hour,
Absolutely. Well, we love Monterey. WCTE is so thankful for you, and we thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Wow, what a great time I've had this evening with all three of our guests. It's such an honor to have such great community leaders on the show at Live at 5. Live at 5 is such a great opportunity to tune in and find out what's going on in the Upper Cumberland. I want to encourage you, do not miss next week's edition of Live at 5. Our very own Becky Magura is going to be having a phenomenal show about TTU and their commitment to diversity and inclusion. You do not want to miss it. Make sure you like and share on Facebook. We're so glad that you took time to tune in with us. We hope you have a great evening, and we'll see you next week.
From one neighbor to another, WCTE PBS is here for you. Join us again tomorrow for today's show to re-air again at 5 p.m. We will return with a live news show on Thursday of next week at 5 p.m. Thank you for watching.